Hi guys, it's Belle here, and it is time to continue working on the prompts for #TheOddtober24, hosted by the lovely April over at Pink Oddbird, in collaboration with the wonderful Priscilla at Release the Crafting. And I'm going to be honest, it feels like ages since I've shared or worked on any of these with you guys. It's not been ages, but it feels like that. So let's get started. So the last tag we did, we were walking through the woods. We came across a pumpkin patch with some mushrooms, a mushroom patch, pumpkins in my head, a mushroom patch that we picked some mushrooms and we found a skeleton key. So that was day 19. Now I have worked on day 20 and I then combined the prompts for 21 and 22 and I worked on those off camera. But we are going to work on a different couple of prompts together. So let me share the next few prompts. Prompt 20. I've been walking for ages when, according to the map, just up ahead is a troll bridge. That must be a typo. So, yeah, I created a troll bridge. That's what I did. So I used, once again, my stone stencil. But unlike in the tunnel, I actually put the Crypt Grit paste by Tim Holtz on grey card. So when I made the tunnel tag early on, page 7, 8, something like that, I actually put the Crypt Grit paste on black card. This time I've done it completely on grey card because I was thinking, I was looking at lots of images of old loose stone bridges, which is what I wanted for the troll bridge, and the grey card worked best. And then I've inked it just with black soot and vintage photo distress oxides. Then I added just a tiny bit, I don't know if you can see it, but just up here there's a little bit of the green mica spray, and I basically did a whole page of just the brick, and then I did half a page where I just slathered the Crypt paste on without a stencil. I just wanted a big piece of it, because then I went on and I drew this on the back of the paper. So this is like the, obviously the archway, and then I cut that out. So this is just plain Crypt paste, just literally just put on a piece of paper like that. I heated it up to really bring the black freckles to the top, and then I used my Stabilo pencil here, this one, Stabilo pencil, to get in between all the little nooks and crannies, and then also in amongst the stones and here, because I wanted to have that shadow effect of the tunnel. I also put some of this fern paper that I've used on one of the other prompts here to kind of represent the forest, the plants, all that kind of thing. And then I used some thin, it's not acetate exactly, it might be, it's from an old photo album. Let me show you, let me grab one. So it's this. You would have seen me use this in lots of projects because I turned a mini photo album into a journal last year, and I just have lots of these pouches. So I took one of these, I used my alcohol pearl tranquil, I put some on, not perfect because I wanted some of the white splodges, and then I let that dry, and then I added some more on top. I didn't want to blend it, I specifically wanted this puddle effect, and because it's pearl, it's got this beautiful shimmer. And then I think you can just see here, let me turn it, see if you can see. Do you see it's a bit bumpy? Because I heated it slightly with my heat tool. So if I was to run my fingers, you can hear it. If I run my fingers over that, it's actually not flat because I wanted it to look like a river going under a tunnel. And then I stitched these, one, to really make sure that paper was adhered to the acetate that I'd use, especially with the alcohol inks. And also I just like the effect. I added a couple of plants, not too many on this one, just a couple, because I felt like it needed it. And then right up the top, we've still got a tiny piece of that vintage map that I used on the map tag, that I then put one of the Tim Holtz words that said danger signals. I was going to put Trollbridge, but I thought danger signals would be quite good because of the next couple of prompts. And just on here, you can see that I've used some glossy accents, and it looks like slime. And that is my day 19. I just love this. This is so full of texture. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm not artistic. My bricks don't look perfect, the ones that I'd drawn. I was looking at images, and I just added some cheesecloth and lace to the top. But that is my day 19 tag. That is our troll bridge. That is what we've come to. Now I combined the next two next two prompts. So let me read them to you. Prompt 21. Despite my doubts, I must keep going. As I get closer to the bridge, to my surprise, I see 3 lumbering beings. Prompt 22. Trolls. They tell me I'm hungry. I do the first thing I can think of and offer up the mushrooms I picked. Satisfied, they let me cross, and up ahead I see a little cottage. So I thought, because we see lumbering creatures in one, and then we actually see the trolls in the next prompt, I just thought it worked better in my head for what I wanted to create if I combined those two prompts. So again, I hope that's not cheating, April, but it's what I've done. And here, I don't know how I feel about this one, but here is my tag for prompts 21 and 22. Now, yes, before any of you say anything, there are only 2 trolls on here. I know, but I took the images from a book that I have. I can't remember who illustrated these. I will leave the name down below because I can't remember the illustrator, but I took them from a book. And these are the only 2 that would fit on here. And you can see I've had to put one right at the bottom, like cut his little body off and put his head there. So I just love these. I thought these trolls worked perfectly with the style of my tags, because I was thinking of loads of different ways that I could add trolls to this and the lumbering shapes and all that kind of thing. These worked perfectly. Now, let's go into the details. On the back of here, I have backed the whole tag with a vintage book page from a Scottish horror book. Terror tales, not horror, they're kind of spooky terror tales, myths. And I thought that worked well because trolls are fairy tale creatures. They're in mythology. So I thought the idea of using a vintage book page from a book about about old Scottish myths was great. I was gifted that by the lovely Sarah ages ago. I did that. I then used vintage photo, little bit of black soot, and as I cannot find my cracked pistachio, some salvage patina oxide sprays to really get some ink. I then cut out the trolls, but you can see here I've used some more of that brickwork from the bridge that I had left over, because he literally looks like he's leaning with his arm. The bridge goes right up to here on top of the bridge. So it's almost like the troll's leaning there on top of that bridge. And then this troll has kind of come from underneath the bridge and he's there. That's how it looks to me. Now, I did put some embossing glow in the dark on their eyes. Their eyes were already green, but I just added some glow in the dark embossing. And then I added slime. Now I went for the slime, guys. Like he's got some, I used glossy accents. Let's see. He's got some coming from his nose because he's grotty. He's got so much slime. I'm really hoping that's picking up, coming from his mouth all here. Is that picking up? And I made it look like dribble. And then we've got monsters haunting the woods and these are from Release the Crafting, and there's slime all over those as well. I'm really hoping I'm getting it. I'm trying to look on camera and seeing if you can see. Can you see the slime? So it looks like they've slimed all over. They've got their slimy nose, which is why just by danger signals, we've got this little bit of slime on the bridge. It's not all over the bridge. It's just there. So they're all slimy and the gross. I did add a tab, but I did it in such a way with brown thread and this little bit of lace, and then put a bone on there that it actually looks like the troll's hair, which I really like. It is a tab, just a normal tab, but because of where I've placed it and how it is with the troll, it looks like the troll's hair. Now, it says I pick the mushroom. So obviously this is interactive. I can pick this mushroom. But it says I pick the mushroom and give it to the trolls. So I had to magnetized the troll's hand. I put a little magnet under there, and this little mushroom, I made another one similar to the ones here, so it matches exactly. I wonder if it could actually attach onto there. The magnet might be the other way. No, it does attach. Matches exactly. I actually had one left over. I trimmed it down and shaped it, and then do you see that? Look guys, look, I hand the troll the magnet, I hand the troll the mushroom, and he takes it, and he's going to, nom nom, I'm going to eat the mushroom, nom 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 nom. So he's eating the mushroom. Now, this is just a bell brain thing, but obviously in the prompt it said I could see a house up ahead, and I managed to find a page and work it on the tag in the way it said house, but there. So the house isn't an image, but I found a piece of paper that said house, but there. So we've got two trolls, not the three. We see them upright, not lumbering shadows. But I've blended the two tags, and I just love the slime on here, guys. I really do love it. So we've come across our trolls. We've picked the mushrooms with the key. We've got to the troll bridge, and then we've seen lumbering creatures who happen to be trolls come to us, and we give them our mushrooms. So let's get working on the next prompt, guys. And again, these two prompts I'm going to blend together. So again, I apologize if this is cheating, but these work best in my head. And yeah, let's get on with them. I'm just going to have a drink because I've been busy filming all day and I need to have a drink. So day 23. So we've seen the cottage in the background when we've been feeding the trolls the mushrooms. Prompt 23. As I approach the cottage, a namesake on the door. It's my same last name. I knock on the door and wait for an answer. Prompt 24. The door opens. I step inside. Everything in this cottage looks like it belongs to a witch. Well, obviously, if we're going to have a door on here, we've got to combine the prompts. And we've got to make a door that opens up like we did on the treehouse tag. So I've already cut some paper that looks like a door. Again, this is some Tim Holtz paper. That is wood. And on the other side, it's got the map. Now, I was going to cover the map up, but I will say, guys, in my head, what I was thinking is England, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people in England were accused and tortured and killed as witches. So I thought it was quite good because we've got the Midlands and things like that, and there's just witches everywhere. I have a dunking pond, sort of a 10-minute drive from me, that was used during the witch trials. I also live not right near, but probably a good, I don't know, not far from, doesn't take me long to get there, the place where Matthew Hopkins, the Witchfinder General, lived. So, you know, I live right in the middle of lots of witchy stuff, proper historical witchy stuff. Obviously, Scotland's got tons, the Pendle Witch Trials. We had hundreds, guys, hundreds of people. So I need another drink. So we've got the door. I'm not doing too much to it. And I wanted to keep that because it's the map and all that kind of thing. So before we add the door, I want to do some background. Now, I pulled out two that I liked from Tim Holtz. I think I quite like the blue because I'm going to be adding a lot of die cuts to this. And I don't know how they're going to stand out against the more grey and black. Although now I'm looking at it, I kind of like the black. I liked this because it had more grossness on it. And we don't have too many touches of blue. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to end up using this one, aren't I? Because that's my style. It's what I like. Okay, so again, these are the Tim Holtz wallpapers, guys. And I've already put my prompt numbers on the back. But yeah, so it had to be a door that was going to open. I mean, there was no other way this tag could have worked for me, hence combining them. Again, I don't know. I'll have to ask April. Is it okay? But, I mean, they're my prompts. They're what I'm working on. So this is what works for me. And you've just got to do what works for you guys. So we will be fully caught up by the time you see this video because I have combined a couple of the days. That's still too big. How weird. So, and I wanted to make another door. I like it. I like interactivity because I'm not working in a journal. Normally, if I'm working in a journal, I would have a lot more interactive elements. But because we're working on tags, why is that wonky? Thank goodness for ink. Because we're working on tags, I still want that fun interactive element. And also, I'm just enjoying working on the tags and doing something a bit different, you know. That's what I've tried to do this year. I've done index cards for the Marguerite Miller rather than working in a journal. You know, I've challenged myself with the size of those. And I always work for October dailies and December dailies in a journal. So this has just been fun. And I've started getting my ideas together for the tag box, which I will be partially working as much as possible on camera for you guys, because I know I asked if you want to see it and you did. So yes. Now I could also distress some of this with inks because I've done a lot of that. But I don't know if I want to. There's such beautiful distressing on this wallpaper and we're going to be gluing a lot of stuff. So I'm just wondering if I don't want to do that. What I might do is stitch. That's what I might do. So let's do that. Yeah. Love it. I just love, like, the wallpaper's already super distressed. Obviously, I could still add inks and things, but we're not going to. Now, the other thing I want to do is instead of using paper this time, I want to use some of this lace as my hinge for my door. Just want to do something different. So yeah, a lot of the tags that I'm working on, some of them are being inspired by other tags that I've worked on. But we'll do a little something different with them, which is just showing you how you can adapt an idea and sort of go with it. I think I'm going to have to trim the top of that. That's okay. You can adapt an idea and go with it and change it up a little bit, sort of exploring how that idea will look in a different way. I really need this matched up super well. And I'm just going to run a little bead of glue because I'm going to stitch. Again, if you're not going to stitch, maybe use a thicker fabric as a hinge because lace can be tricky to get it glued down properly. But if you, so you would need to do that and really make sure that's glued down. But I'm going to go stitch. So I'm going to do that and then I will be back. Okay, guys, so you can see I've stitched it. I love this fabric because it kind of blends with the wood and then it opens up. That's my hinge. Now, I also wanted to add, so I couldn't find the little door knocker that I wanted. Where's the other one gone to? Sorry, I'm looking for a different one. I couldn't find the door knocker that I wanted to use. I wanted to use the other Tim Holtz one that that I was debating using with the treehouse door. And as I said, can't find it. Of course I can't, because I want to use it. So therefore it's gone missing. But I do have some of the rings, different sizes. I only had one of each size that I used on the treehouse door. I think this one goes better, to be honest. I mean, it's quite small. Maybe we'll put it over there again. Maybe we will. It's quite small, but... And I'm going to put this on with Brad's again. So I'm just going to use my pokey tool. And then I'm going to grab some Brad's. So let me do that. Okay, so I got some more of the little Tim Holtz. They're like little, oh gosh, they're so tiny. Hold on, guys. They're like little screws. When I brought them, I was like, these are interesting. And then I saw them and I thought, oh my goodness, they're so tiny. Like, I don't know how I feel about that and whether I'll actually use them. And I've used so many in this October Daily project that I now need to restock. Okay, that one, let's put that one in first because the other one is playing me up, which is annoying. Come on. Behave. I think it's open. So we're going to put that in there. Why does that not want to go in? Hold on, guys. Let me just... I needed to see, so unfortunately I had to do that off camera. So let's just do that. So we've got the little door knocker, which I can kind of maneuver a little bit. Now, also on the front of here, I wanted to put like a reef. I wanted to like put one of those. So I got some die cuts because we're in the woods. I feel like, you know, she's probably a nature witch. I know I always have wreaths on my door. So I'm just assuming she does too. I'm just going to make her one. And I thought that would be quite cute, actually, to make her a little reef for her door. I feel like, obviously, I've got to come in and ink these up. So let me just ink the rest of these and glue it down. Okay, guys, so I've done the little wreath. You know, it's just simple, but I think it's effective. And then I'm going to grab my StazOn Jet Black and I'm going to add a little speedy spider. I want it coming down into the wreath because that just feels right to me. I don't know how well this will stick on here because it's going over all those. Oh, I like that. It's just in the background. Do you see? I'm wondering if I want another one kind of up here. I think I do. It's just coming down into the reef because I know when I have my wreaths up, different ones, the spiders can take a liking to. Anyway, it just seems right. And I'm wondering if I'm going to use my crackle stamp. And we are going to just add some of that all over the door. Because again, I just love my crackle stamp. And I think it does add to the idea of this being weathered wood. I think it really adds to the effect. Love it. Now we have to use the nameplate on here. So, I mean, look at that, guys. Don't we think that adds? I think it does. Right. So nameplate, I have a couple of options because I was wondering about almost putting it on almost like, I think that'll work best. I've got a really big one, but I don't think that'll work. Almost like, what's it called? A letterbox. So that's what it kind of, I want this to almost represent a letterbox on the door, whilst also being a nameplate, and I'm just going to grab, I just want to cut like part of this so that we can then use it as the background. Let's trim a little bit of this off. This is just a tea dyed label anyway, so it's fine. Want to add a bit more brown to that. We're going to glue that onto there, and then we're going to add, well, my surname. It does say that, doesn't it? The last name. The same last name. Yes. So this witch has the same last name, and to be honest, I'm not surprised. I probably am the witch inside, not the person as part of this story. That's what this is. This is my dream cottage in the wood. So let's grab a pen and let's just put my name on there. I mean, I could have made this look prettier, but I'm trying to add my handwriting to a lot more of my projects. That's what I'm trying to do. I used to hate my, well, I still don't think my handwriting's the best, but I really want to add it to a lot more projects, just like I do photos, because it's just as unique, isn't it? So that's what I want to do. So we're going to add that on. And obviously I'm going to add 2 more. I say obviously, it might not be obvious, I'm sorry, but where's my pokey tool gone? There it is. I'm going to add 2 more brads onto there. So let me do that, and then we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so there we go. We've got the brads added, got our spider, we got our crackle. Now I want to continue with some stuff on the door. I wanted to put on the inside of here, we've got quite a few of the metal brads, which is fine. I don't normally mind that, but I'm actually going to add a little collage of Tim Holtz Halloween bits, because if this is a witch's cottage, I almost want these bits, 1, to cover the metal brads, and 2, I want it to almost look like, you know, a bookshelf of her different bits and bobs. I don't know. I know what I'm thinking in my head. So I don't know. I thought this would be quite fun to do. So we're just going to do this, like labels and things. It doesn't have to be exact, even if the next bit that I'm about to do is a bit more exact to it. But, you know, mix and match. Mix and match. I'm loving this. You know, we're getting witchy now. This is my jam. So, yeah, this is my aesthetic. And I've got this eye. Again, it's a Tim Holtz piece, but I wanted it as if I was looking into the house. You get where I'm going with that? Yeah. It's, again, it's just my thought process. I'm looking into the house. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to put that one along there. So we've got all of these things in the little witch's cottage. I'm looking inside. I've knocked on the door. I've opened it. Looking inside. I mean, really, honestly, has this person in this story never read anything? Any kind of fairy tale? You don't go knocking on a cottage. Sorry, having a drink in the middle of the woods. You don't do that. I wanted the 13 on there too, but I've stuck that down now. Oh, it might just be able to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, there's 5. Do we need the 13? I feel like I want it, so we're just going to do it. Yeah. No one, this person in this story never read these fairy tales. Never, ever, ever go to a cottage in the middle of the woods, especially if you've seen trolls, strange creatures, weird noises, creepy, all sorts of things, giant, strange dog creatures. Yeah, there's bound to be a witch in the cottage in the woods. And just don't do it, guys. Just don't. Like, why would you? I'm wondering if I want to put the other one down there now. No, it's fine. Anyway, let's start adding. So the first thing I'm going to do is I die cut this cauldron out of some Tim Holtz paper, you know, from the paper pads he used to do. I know, I'm still a bit salty about it. Bring back the paper pads. We need to get a petition up. Bring back the paper pads. So we're going to add our cauldron because it can't be a witch's cottage without a cauldron. Okay, guys, it just can't. Can't be a witch's house without a cauldron. They're just cooking pots. We call them cauldrons, but the reality is they were just cooking pots. Everyone had one. Everyone in any house at this time period had one of these because that's the kind of cooking pots they had. So, like, we now associate it with witches, but it's just historical cooking. So, okay. And I've also got the shelf. All of these die cuts, I think all of them, are from Tim Holtz die cut packs that I have had, that he's brought out over the years. And I never get enough opportunity to play with them. So I'm very, very excited to be able to play with these. Ooh, let's bring in the spider. Want the spider. Want the spider. Coming down from the shelf. Creepy crawlies, do 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 do. Let's have the spider coming down. Don't go in the cooking pot, Mr. Spider. Love it. Okay, so we got the spider. Let's grab everything over, shall we? I've got all sorts of bits and bobs. I've also got a black cat. This is one of the Tim Holtz ones again. Now, I wasn't going to use this one. I've actually got a die cut black cat. But you know what? I just didn't feel like that was doing it for me. So maybe we could even put the black cat on that side. We'll think about that. So let's have a look. I have a crystal ball because Witch's Cottage, guys. Witch's Cottage. Where is the hat? Ah, I had my witchy hat. Not mine. But I wanted the witch's hat in front of the crystal ball like it's just been put up there. So, yeah. And again, all the die cut from a Tim Holtz pack. And I just used scrap paper. On this one, I cut out, I used some different inks, including the cracked glass or something, and a bit of walnut stain. And then I used glossy accents, but then I cracked it slightly because I just thought that looked better. You know, got to have some divination tools. So we're going to add that to there. That's going to want to not stick flat. It will, but it doesn't want to. But that's okay, because it will. Okay, and I can flatten this afterwards. So we're going to have the hat, and I kind of wanted the hat in front of the crystal ball, like so. We'll glue part of the hat down, because I might put some stuff behind the hat as well. Like so. Oh, I know what else I had. So down here, I actually have the book die cut as well. Now, what I want to do is, I want to ink this with some walnut stain to make the pages stand out a bit and look more aged. So we're going to stick the book right down here, as if she's using the book for whatever spell she's working on right now. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, does it? Love it. So yeah, everyone's like, ooh, witch's cauldron. No, guys, it was just a normal soup pot that people used. That might not sound as spooky, but it's also the truth. So we'll just go with it. Because it's the truth. So we've got the book pages. I really don't get to play with these die cuts as much, and I love them. They're also quite intricate. A lot of Tim Holtz die cuts are quite intricate. And I think that's another reason sometimes I don't use them as much, because sometimes there's more and more that you have to, what's the word, cut out and layer up and take forever to do. But it's worth it. It's not that it's not worth it. It just can take a long time when you know, although that's the kind of thing that's good to do in the evenings. If you've got die cuts and you want to get ready and stock up for whatever you're doing, whether that be Christmas, spooky season, spring, whatever it is, then it's good in the evenings to just sit there. These are some of the ones that look like the book pages are opening. Come on, all say it with me. Book. Hocus pocus. You got to say it. Winifred calling her book. Oh, honestly, I feel like I'm just Winifred. I can't help it. When I go up looking for a book, I always have to go book. Anyway, so we've got our book there. Let's have a look at what else I've got in here. I did want to add some herbs, but I was also very mindful that I was trying to not make this too bulky. I know, laugh with me, hey? Okay, so got to have some potion bottles. I mean, it's a little witch's house. Can't not have potion bottles up there like that. I think that'll go. I've got a few. I might add a bit of black. Should really have glossy accent these as well, but don't get carried away, Belle. You don't need to put glossy accents on absolutely everything. And then my brain's going, you do. If it's a bottle, add the glossy accents to really add the glossiness. No, I don't need to. You do. So yeah, we're going to add. Oh, no, that's the complete wrong bottle. That's all right. I'll let that glue dry. That's because I'm thinking ahead and not focusing enough. Right, let's get the glue off my thumb. So we're going to add these. I was thinking of making one of the bottles look like it had tipped over, but I decided against that. Now we can add the rest of the glue onto this hat so that it sticks down onto the bottles. Oh, I have this little green thing here. I could just bring that in for a bit of green, and then it brings in some of the colour over there. Yeah, let's do that. A lot of gluing on this one. A lot of gluing and die cuts and all that good stuff. Okay, so we've got a raven. I did have the ephemera one, and I think I prefer him because you can really see his face, so I might use him. Oh, I got a little candle. Let's get the bits out, shall we? We've got some keys. Wanted some keys. We've got a little skull. We've got a pumpkin. Got some little bones. There's the bottom to the skull. We may or may not use those. We shall see. I really think the cat would work really well over here now. I think the raven would look really good on the cauldron, the edge of the cauldron. No, not because I'm cooking it, people. But because it's just looking at the... I knew there was a bit that needs to come out. It's just looking into the cauldron. Did I stick that down? It's just looking into the cauldron, trying to work out if the spell's going well. Oh, it's covering up most of that spider now, so we need to move it over a little bit so we can see some of the spider. We have got some keys. I wanted some keys hanging down because there's keys in this story. So it makes sense to me to have some keys, even if these aren't the skeleton keys that we had. It just makes sense to me to hang some keys down. Because that's how my brain works. Ah, so much fun. Do you know what I think it is? I think putting die cuts and little, like, what they called, hold on, let me have a drink. Shadow boxes and that, it kind of reminds me of when I was a child. And you might be doing, you know, if you had a doll's house or something like that, it kind of gives you those feels that you're really putting together a little thing like that. I think I want the candle there. So we're going to do that. We're going to put the candle there, but then we need something here. That's the thing. Do I want to put a little skull? I mean, why not? Let's do that. Let's really cover that top shelf, unless I want to put the skull at the bottom. Do I want to put the skull down here? sort of in the corner. Now I'm looking, I really like that skull down there actually. Let's still put this on this edge because I feel like this needs a bit more over here. I was going to add some plants because I really feel like she would have some plants hanging in places. Let's just do a little bit around the skull. So yeah, let's get this. And then we're going to add the cat over to this side. And then we'll basically be done. I was thinking of adding some of the mica sprays, but we all know how annoyed I get with those. And I don't want to spray or varnish the whole of this to try and keep the mica spray in place. Yeah, that would annoy me. I do have a little pumpkin as well. Do we want a pumpkin down there? Am I just trying to add too much now? I mean, we could add the cat there, but we won't see the books. So I think we're going to add the cat over here, actually. That's what I think we're going to do. I don't know. I'm sure there's witches who have dogs and other creatures, of course. But obviously, cats got, unfortunately, badly demonized along with women, and that during the witch trials, you know, I just think it's because they're super independent. But yeah, unfortunately that happened. But I do wonder if I want some plant hanging down, like just a little bit, almost like herbs, like hanging. Let's do it. Let's see what that looks like. Let's cut one and add it. Can't not have herbs hanging down if you're a little bit of a witch. It's just part of the whole thing. I don't like that one. Let's have a different one. Maybe this. Maybe I like this one better. Maybe? I don't know. Maybe I like this better. That looks a bit like a flower, so that might work. So I've got to have the herbs. If it goes underneath, maybe. Like so. I don't think I like that one. I think it's too bright. I think that's what's bothering me. Even though it's good to have the different shades of green, realistically, it is good. Got some flowers. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure other people have dogs and things like that, but it just feels right to have a cat. But I could be biased because I'm a cat person. It's just who I am, so I could be very biased with that. And we're just going to add the herbs, and then the inside will be done. Now I haven't added a tab to this, so I might add it to the door. Looking at it right now, I might do that. Hang the herbs. Yeah, where possible, I like to actually use real plants, like little bits of rosemary or stuff, but I don't know. This should be all right. Oh, I've got a little brown one. I've just seen this one. This is a darker green. Oh, I like that. I think that's cut out from a paper bag. Let's use that. So yeah, but I didn't with this one. Woo! We're just using paper die cuts. Now, obviously, if you don't have die cuts, you could, if you're any good at drawing, you could draw. I think the 2 is fine. Do I want a third one added? Well, I've got it. Let's just do it. You could draw them. You could cut images out of magazines. You could print images off the computer. Like, there's all sorts of ways you can do this. I have die cuts, so I wanted to use... That spider's really hidden. And now I'm thinking, do I want another spider? Maybe coming down the cooking pot. Maybe that's where I want another spider. So we're going to have that like that. Going into the witchy book. Okay, cool. I like that. And yeah, because when I close this, you can kind of see the top. So I'm wondering about adding. I need some fabric or something. we've got the wood. We could use this, some of this. I know I've used this on other tops and it works really well. And it gives me that kind of wooden feel for the door. So we could have that. And I think, do you know what? Maybe that's all we need. Let me go stitch that. Okay, so I stitched that on there and it covers up the fact that there's a tiny bit of a gap between the bottom and the top, and it covers up the top of that bottle. I was just looking, I've still got this raven and I was wondering about using it on here. I just felt like there was something missing from the front. So we're going to add the raven as if it's sitting on there, which would be a weird place for a raven to sit really, but it's on there now. So here we go. Prompt 23. As I approach the cottage, a namesake on the door. It's my same last name. I knock on the door and wait for an answer. So we have the door, we've got the reef, we've got some spiders, we've got some crackling, we've used a fabric hinge, we've got the little door knock, we've got all the screws on there, and wait to open the door. The door opens and there's me looking inside. The door opens and I step inside. Everything in this cottage looks like it belongs to a witch. We've got a cauldron, a spell book, a skull. It could just be a quartz skull, guys. It doesn't have to be a real one. We've got apothecary labels. We've got a cat, a raven, some keys, some herbs, some potion bottles, a hat, some candles. And we've got a crystal ball, which is quite hidden behind there, but it is there. So that is days 23 and 24. Just let me grab the other ones, guys. So remember, day 20, I've been waiting for ages. According to the map, up ahead is a troll bridge. That must be a typo. And why is there drool all over the top? But days 21 and 22. Despite my doubts, I must keep going. As I get closer to the bridge, to my surprise, I see 3 lumbering beings. Trolls. They tell me they're hungry. I do the first thing I can think of and offer up the mushrooms I picked. Bump. Satisfied, they let me cross, and up ahead I see a small cottage. Ew, they're so dribbly and gross and drooly. As I approach the cottage, a namesake on the door. It's my same last name. I knock on the door and wait for an answer. The door opens and I step inside. Everything in this cottage looks like it belongs to a witch. Sorry. Having too much fun, guys. Having too much fun. So, yeah, they're my 3 tags for days 20, days 21, 22, and 23 and 24. So I've combined these 2. Theoretically, that's one day and that's the next day. So they're combined on one tag, but yeah. The troll one, maybe pushing it a little bit because it didn't have the 3 trolls. But it was what I had. It's what I could work with. And I think, look, they just work all so well together. So I hope you enjoyed that one, guys. I'll be back again soon when we will be working on day 25. I'll be back again soon. I hope you enjoyed these. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yes, wherever you are in the world, please beware of trolls. Always carry something that you can give them to eat. And don't go knocking on some old cottage in the middle of the woods, because it never works out well normally in fairy tales. Although this one might be different. And I hope you're having lots and lots of spooky crafty fun. Bye for now.